right, Doug, you're first with this one. Please share your thoughts on a phase-out of sorts of Social Security.
Obviously a lightning rod issue. There are an awful lot of people on Social Security in this country, and that number is going up drastically in the next few years. And the government has made promises to the people, and people have structured their lives around those promises. So in any phase-out or any restructuring of Social Security, the government must not break the promises it has already made to the people who have structured their lives around it. That being said, there are things we can do. There are lots of people, little kids for example, that have not structured their lives around Social Security. So what we need to do is we need to find a cutoff. 55, 45, 35, whatever the numbers work out right for. And we need to say, okay, after that, we allow people to invest some of their payroll taxes into private accounts. Now, those accounts can be overseen by the government. They can be regulated to make sure that people are not investing in crazy speculative investments. But we need to find a way to stop making more promises to people who have not structured their lives around them. And we also need to find a way to stop these unfunded liabilities. We have close to $60 trillion in unfunded liabilities right now that we cannot afford to pay. Much of that is in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And we have to restructure those programs without breaking the promises we've already made to the people who have structured their lives around them.
Do you realize that Medicare has gone up 59 times faster than the rate of inflation? Things are out of whack. When we look at World War II period and Social Security, and you go back to the historical foundations of what this program was about, it was not meant as a full-time retirement program for every working American. And again, having said that, yes, there are people that are dependent on Social Security, but there are a lot of things that we can do. The government doesn't recognize that Social Security money should be set aside. It's sort of interesting. It's some kind of little program out there that no one really understands where it's coming from. We need to really get a handle around this. We can look at things like allowing privatization of the system, allowing those that are young, as Doug suggested, to opt out of Social Security or put their money into a private system. I think that we ought to secure those that are in their 50s and above that have counted on this simply because it's necessary. There's no two ways about it. We can't pull the rug out from under people, but we can certainly retrain Americans to think in a new way. And that's to take control back over our own lives and have responsibility for our own retirement programs. My parents came out of the Depression era. They didn't count on the government. They saved money. They did that because they knew at some point in time they would have to retire. We need to teach the next generation, our children, about being fiscally responsible, that you don't spend what you don't have. And that's where we're at with Social Security right now. We have too many people retiring, not enough people contributing into the system, and it is going to fail. We passed the mark this year. It's not someplace in the future. It's something we're presently dealing with. This Congress is going to have to make some tough decisions. I'm prepared to make them, and I will make them so that this country lasts for a long time and is solvent.
Next here, but before we go any further,
I'll use
I'm sorry, I apologize. The one time I wasn't looking. There it is.
We've already paid for them, we might as well use them. One of the biggest issues in entitlement programs is Medicare and Medicaid. And what do they pay for? They pay for medical care. So we're back to that issue of why are we spending so much money on medical care? We've got to find a way to reduce the cost of providing quality health care to our people, because we are spending money that we don't have. The printing presses are going right now 24 hours a day creating money out of thin air in order to pay medical bills for our seniors and our poor. That is unsustainable. We've got to reduce the cost of medical care, quality medical care, not only for those that are paying for it themselves, but also for the rest of us who are paying for it in our tax dollars.
Again, before we go on, a few people in the audience that we can recognize, maybe they can stand up. They're running different places, different seats here in Connecticut, GOP candidates. Tony Saragusa is running in the 38th. Is running in the 37th. And Doctor in the 20th. And Chet Harris in the 36th. David Denver in the 35th, you said? 35th, sorry. Did we miss him? And who was this right here?
Mike.
Oh, Mike. Mike's good, David. Did I miss anyone else?
Andrew Lockwood, I'm the campaign manager, is going to be here tonight on 39th.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, we move on. And I believe Dara, you're next here. Should terrorists be tried in civilian court?
No. No. Terrorists are not civilian criminals. No two ways about it. This administration has it wrong. This type of activity is war by other means, and we have to go out there and try these people in military courts. We need to protect our society. This is not a case of somebody going down to the local pizza store and robbing somebody. These people are enemies of our state, and they need to be tried in a military court.
Foreign terrorists need to be tried in military courts. Citizens of the United States are tried in civilian courts.
Doug, I'll go first with you here. How do you feel about a bill that would require every representative that votes for a bill to sign a document that they've actually read that bill?
Well, I would be all for that, because what that would do almost instantly is shut down most of the federal government.
All right.
There just isn't any way for normal people to read 3,000-page bills. I'm a lawyer. I'm getting through a 3,000-page bill that's been drafted by 150 different people over several months is nearly impossible. So when everybody says that we need to read the bills, absolutely. But what we need to do is we need to make sure that the bills aren't 3,000 pages to start with. Because nobody can read them, nobody can understand them, especially when no single person actually wrote them. So absolutely, and that hopefully would reduce the size and complexity of the bills and make bills specific to a specific purpose and not have a million different things thrown in by all these different interest groups.
Yeah.
I'm not an attorney, but I do read, and I will read the bill, or I will make a pledge, and I have already signed this pledge. I will not vote for anything that I have not read and understood.